My name is Myra Fowler. I'm 26 years old. Last Christmas, I stood in my dad's kitchen holding a $5 keychain and saying thank you, while the rest of my family sat completely silent. Because just seconds earlier, my grandfather had revealed that the keychain in my hand was supposed to be a $400,000 apartment. For 2 months, I carried that keychain like it meant something. I showed it to friends. I cleaned it with my sleeve. I told people, yeah, my dad got this for me. But the truth, my dad had already given the apartment to someone else. And the worst part wasn't the money. It was realizing that every time he told me Grandpa was confused, he was buying himself one more day before the truth caught up, and it did, at Christmas dinner in front of 12 people, and the look on my dad's face told me everything his lies had been hiding. But to understand what happened that night, we need to go back. I was 12 when my dad married Diane. Emma was 10, and everything changed almost immediately. The first thing I lost was my bedroom. I had the biggest room in the house. 2 windows, sunlight every morning, an oak tree right outside. It had been mine since I was 4. 3 days after Diane moved in, my dad sat me down at the kitchen table and said, "Emma needs that room. She's having a hard time adjusting." Then he added the line I'd hear for the next 14 years. "You're older. You understand." So I nodded, packed my life into garbage bags, and moved into a small room next to the water heater. No windows. Door didn't lock properly. I was 12. And no, I didn't understand anything. But I learned quickly. When it came to me or Emma, I would always come second. Emma got a brand new winter coat. I got her old one, even though she was smaller than me. Emma got driving lessons at 16. I got a bus pass. Emma went on vacations with them. I slept on a fold-out cot in the same room. $12 a night. That's what my comfort was worth. I stopped counting after a while. Not because it didn't hurt, but because keeping score made it hurt more. The only constant. There was only one person who never treated me like I was optional. My grandfather Harold. After my grandmother passed, he became my safe place. Every summer, when my dad was too busy for me, I'd take a 4-hour bus ride to his house, and there, I mattered. He taught me how to cook, how to fix things, how to survive. He never forgot my birthday. Not once, looking back now. I didn't just visit him. I escaped to him. Act 2, Independence, age 18 plus. At 18, I left. No big goodbye. No emotional send-off. Just 2 boxes. And my dad saying, "Call if you need anything." Then he went back inside to watch TV. I never called, because in my head, I had already seen the numbers. Emma's college paid. Emma's car covered. Emma's life supported. Mine, a bus pass. So I built my life alone. Small apartment, rice and beans, double shifts, quiet survival. Introducing June. That's when I met June. She was sharp, honest, and had 0 tolerance for nonsense. One night, I told her my dad forgot my birthday again. She didn't comfort me. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Your dad didn't blend a family. He replaced a daughter." I laughed it off. But those words, they stayed. Act 3, The Gift. 3 months before Christmas, Grandpa had surgery, and every weekend, I drove 4 hours to take care of him. Cooking, cleaning, helping him heal. My dad visited once, stayed 2 hours. Spent most of it on his phone. Grandpa noticed. He always noticed. One day, he said something different. I see everything, Myra. 2 weeks later, he called his lawyer. The apartment. Grandpa found a place for me, 2-bedroom apartment, close to my work. Price? $398,000. He wired $412,000 to my dad. With one note, for Myra. He trusted his son. Told him, put it in her name. Give her the keys on her birthday. My dad said, I'll take care of it. The gift? My birthday came. Grandpa sounded excited. Like a kid, I thought maybe something small. Something thoughtful. 2 days later, a package arrived. Inside, a keychain, silver, with a real estate logo, and a card. Happy birthday. Love, Dad. That was it. The first crack. I called Grandpa. He asked, Did you see everything? I said yes. There was a pause, a long one. Then he said, As long as you're happy. Something felt off, but I ignored it because I wanted to believe that was all there was, the clue. Weeks later, June showed me something, Emma, on Instagram, holding keys, standing in front of a brand new apartment. Same city, same time, same price range. Still, I didn't connect it. Not yet. The truth begins. Then Grandpa called again. Have you moved into the apartment? My heart dropped. What apartment? Silence. Then, the one I bought you. I called my dad. He said, Grandpa's confused. The deal fell through. There is no apartment, but something was wrong. His voice, too fast, too defensive, too practiced. Manipulation. Then Diane called. Said Grandpa might have memory problems. Told me not to bring it up, that it would upset him. That's when it clicked. Not fully, but enough. Something wasn't right. The investigation. June pulled up the real estate company. Found the listing. Same building, same balcony, same door, same apartment. Status, sold. That was the moment everything aligned. The keychain, the lies, Emma's post, the silence, realization. I sat there holding that keychain and understood something that changed me forever. My father didn't just lie. He didn't just manipulate. He didn't just betray me. He took something meant for me and gave it to someone else. Then wrapped the evidence and mailed it to me. Act 4, the wait. I didn't confront him. Not yet, because Christmas was coming. And Grandpa said he'd be there for the first time in years. And something told me he already knew. Build up to Christmas. Diane suddenly wanted me there. Called me family. After 14 years, that alone should have been a warning. But it wasn't. It was her biggest mistake. Inner conflict. Every night I asked myself, do I confront him or let it go? If I'm right, I lose my father. If I'm wrong, I destroy everything. Final setup. Then Grandpa called. I'm coming for Christmas. And bring the keychain. That's when I knew. This wasn't over. This was just the beginning. Cliffhanger End Part 1. Christmas Day. 12 people, 1 table, 1 secret, and 1 keychain sitting in my pocket. That was about to destroy everything. Because my grandfather didn't drive 4 hours just to eat dinner. He came for the truth. CTA, ND. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just a story about money. It's about betrayal, family, and the moment you realize you were never chosen. Comment below, what would you do in my place? Christmas Day, 12 people, 1 dinner table, and a $5 keychain sitting in my pocket that was about to destroy my family. Because my grandfather didn't drive 4 hours in winter with a healing hip just to celebrate Christmas. He came for one reason, the truth, and by the end of that dinner, someone was going to be exposed. Act 1, Arrival. I got there early, not because I wanted to help, but because I needed to see the room before it filled up. Same house, same kitchen, same table where I'd spent years trying to be enough. Diane was already in full host mode. Perfect smile, perfect tone. Myra, you made it! She hugged me. Actually hugged me. 14 years. And now she hugs me. I didn't hug back fully. Just enough to not make a scene. You look good, she said. Translation, you look like you survived without us. Reading the room. Emma walked in 10 minutes later. Confident, relaxed, holding a bottle of wine like she belonged there. Like she always had. Myra, she said, smiling. And here's the thing. Emma was never cruel. Not directly. She just lived in a world where everything worked out for her. A world built on things taken from me. Hey, I said. And for a moment, I wondered, did she know? The entrance. Then the front door opened, and everything in the house shifted. Harold, my grandfather, standing there, straight, calm, watching, not smiling, not joking, just observing, like a man walking into a courtroom. Grandpa, I said softly. He hugged me tight, longer than usual, and then he whispered, You brought it? I nodded. Act 2, dinner begins. Everyone sat down. Food passed around, fake laughter, small talk, but underneath it, tension. You could feel it, like a storm waiting to break. Harold didn't eat much. He just watched, listened, measured every word spoken at that table. My dad avoided eye contact with him. That was the first sign. The first move. Halfway through dinner, Harold set his fork down and said calmly, Myra tells me she liked her birthday gift. Silence, not awkward silence. Dangerous silence. All eyes turned to me, then to my dad. My dad forced a smile. Of course she did. It was from you. Harold nodded slowly. Yes, it was. Then he turned to me. Myra, do you still have it? My hands felt cold, but I reached into my pocket and placed the keychain on the table, right in the center. The trap closes. Harold picked it up, turned it in his fingers, then looked directly at my dad. Richard, tell me something. My dad shifted in his chair. What's that, Dad? Where did this come from? Simple question, but it hit like a hammer. My dad laughed lightly. Like I said before, just a small gift. Something symbolic. Harold didn't blink. Symbolic of what? No answer. The pressure builds. Diane jumped in. Oh, Harold, it's just a thoughtful little... He raised his hand. Not aggressively, just enough to stop her. I asked my son. The room froze. Emma looked confused now. Actually confused. That's when I knew. She didn't know. The truth starts leaking. Harold leaned forward slightly. Richard, I wired you $412,000. The room went silent, completely silent. Even the air felt different. I told you exactly what it was for. My dad swallowed. Dad, we've talked about this. You were mistaken. No. That one word cut through everything. I was not mistaken. Control breaks. Diane tried again. Harold, maybe this isn't the right time. When is the right time? He said calmly. When the money is gone. No one spoke. No one moved. The moment. Harold turned to me. Myra, have you ever seen the apartment I bought for you? My throat tightened. No. He nodded, then turned slowly toward Emma. And you? Emma blinked. What? The apartment in Millbrook. 2 bedrooms, balcony. Her face changed. Just slightly. Yeah, that's where I live now. Pause. Why? Impact. Harold didn't raise his voice. Didn't slam the table. Didn't yell. He just said, I paid for that apartment. And everything broke. Explosion. What? Emma said. No, that's not Dad. She looked at my father. My dad stood up. Okay, enough. This is getting out of hand. Sit down. Harold's voice was still calm. But this time, it wasn't a request. And for the first time in my life, my dad actually hesitated. Full exposure. Harold looked at everyone at the table. I sent that money for Myra. I trusted my son to do one simple thing. Instead, he gave it to someone else. Emma's face went pale. I didn't know, she whispered. And I believed her. That's the part that hurt in a different way. She wasn't the villain. She was just the beneficiary. Father collapses. My dad ran a hand through his hair. This is not how it looks. Then explain it, I said. My voice didn't shake. That surprised me. Explain how my birthday gift became her house. He looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time, he didn't have an answer ready. The real truth. Finally, he said it. Quiet, defensive. She needed it more. That was it. That was his reason. 14 years of choices, summed up in one sentence. Final break. I nodded slowly. Of course she did. Not angry. Not yelling. Just done. You always choose her. No one argued. Because no one could. Grandfather's final move. Harold stood up. Slowly, carefully, but with authority. Richard, you will return that money. My dad shook his head. It's already spent. Then sell the apartment. Diane stepped in immediately. You can't just uproot Emma like that. Harold looked at her. Cold. I didn't give you the money. Consequence. Then he turned back to my dad. You have 30 days, or I take legal action. And just like that, it wasn't a family argument anymore. It was accountability. Aftermath. No one finished dinner, no dessert, no gifts, just silence. Emma sat there, staring at nothing. My dad looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. And me? I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not anger, not sadness, clarity. Exit. I grabbed my coat. Harold stopped me at the door. I'm sorry, he said. You deserved better. I shook my head. You gave me better. And for the first time in my life, I meant it. Behind me, my family was falling apart. But for the first time, it wasn't me holding it together. It was the truth tearing it apart. And what happened next? Destroyed whatever was left. After Christmas dinner, Nothing went back to normal. Because once the truth comes out, you don't get to pretend anymore. My dad had 30 days to fix what he did, or lose everything. And for the first time in my life, I didn't try to save him. Act 1, the silence after. The next morning, my phone didn't ring. No apology, no explanation. Nothing, just silence. And honestly, that silence said more than anything else could. Because my entire life, I had been the one who adjusted, the one who understood, the one who forgave, before anyone even asked. But this time, I didn't call. The first crack. 3 days later, my dad finally called. I stared at my phone for a long time before answering. "Hey," he said. Like nothing happened. Like we were just normal. "Hey," I replied. Flat, no emotion. A pause. Then he sighed. "You know, I didn't mean for it to go this way." That sentence, it told me everything. Not "I'm sorry," not "I was wrong." Just, I didn't mean to get caught like this. No more excuses. "Then how did you mean for it to go?" I asked. Silence. Then, "Emma needed stability. You've always been independent." I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was predictable. "You didn't choose her because she needed it more," I said. "You chose her because it was easier." That hit him. I could hear it in his breathing. The deadline. "Dad," I continued, "you have 30 days. You heard Grandpa?" Another pause. Then he said something that changed everything. "I don't have the money." Of course he didn't. Because it wasn't sitting in an account anymore. It was walls, floors, a front door with fresh paint. Emma's home. I see two. Emma. A week later. Emma called me. That had never happened before. Not like this. Her voice was quiet, uncertain. "Did you know?" she asked. I didn't pretend. Yes. A long silence. Then, I didn't. And again, I believed her. A different kind of pain. "I thought Mom and Dad saved for it," she said. I thought this was my gift. I closed my eyes. Because this part wasn't clean. There was no villain sitting across from me. Just someone who had unknowingly lived inside my loss. The conversation that changed everything. "I don't want to lose it," Emma said. I just got settled. My job is here. My life is here. There it was. Fear, real fear. And for a second, I saw her not as the person who got everything, but as someone who had never been told no. My answer: "I'm not the one taking it from you," I said. That was never my choice. She didn't respond right away. Then quietly, "What happens now?" And that was the question, wasn't it? T3, consequences. Day 15, my dad called again. This time, he didn't sound defensive. He sounded tired. "I talked to a lawyer," he said. "Of course you did," I replied. "He says legally Dad has a case." That didn't surprise me. Harold didn't make careless decisions. The reality. "If I don't fix this, he's going to take me to court." Yes. And I could lose the store. That part landed. Fowler Building Supply. His entire identity. Gone. Because of one decision. Full circle. "You made a choice," I said. "Now you live with it. No anger. No yelling. Just truth." And I think that scared him more than anything. Harold's final move. Day 28. Harold called me. "It's done," he said. "What is?" "Your father is selling the apartment." I didn't speak. I just sat there, letting it sink in. The fall. Emma moved out 2 weeks later. No drama, no screaming. Just quiet reality. My dad listed the property, sold it, at a loss, because rushed sales always come with consequences. The price of betrayal. Between legal fees, closing costs, and market timing, he didn't just lose the apartment. He lost money, a lot of it, but more than that, he lost something he couldn't buy back. Trust. Act 4. What I got. A month later, Harold called again. "Ready to see your place?" This time, it was real. No confusion. No middleman. Just him and me. The door. We stood outside together. Same building. Same balcony. Same door. But this time, the key in my hand actually meant something. I turned it, opened the door, and stepped inside. Emotional resolution. It wasn't just an apartment. It was proof that I wasn't invisible, that someone had seen everything and chose me anyway. Final conversation with Dad. A week later, my dad came to see me. First time he had ever come to my place. He looked around quietly. "You did good," he said. I nodded. I always did. That hit him hard. "I'm sorry," he said. Finally. But it came too late, not because I didn't hear it, but because I didn't need it anymore. Closure. "I forgive you," I said. And I meant that. But forgiveness isn't the same as going back. And he understood that. Some people think revenge is loud, explosive, dramatic. But sometimes revenge is quiet. It's moving on. It's building a life without needing the people who broke you. My dad gave my future to someone else. But in the end, he lost everything trying to do it. And I still got what was meant for me. If you made it to the end, respect. Comment. Would you have forgiven him? And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe, because some truths deserve to be heard.